In today's video, learn some awesome intermediate chord progressions for neo soul and R&B guitar. Enjoy! How's it going? I'm Dave and my channel is all about helping you create awesome neo soul, R&B and other modern sounds on your guitar. If you're new here and that sounds like your kind of thing, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you click the notification bell so that you're notified every single time I release a new video. Today's video is part 2 of a 3-part series I'm doing on neo soul and R&B chord progressions. This is the intermediate video. The first video was a beginner video, so if you want some beginner chord progressions, check my latest video out. But this one is all on intermediate chord progressions. The things that are going to set this video apart from the previous video is we're going to start using extensions, so things like 9ths, 11ths and 13ths, and we're also going to start using some passing chords between the main chords in our progressions. So let's jump into the lesson with the first chord progression. Alright, so let's take a look at the first chord progression. We're still in the key of A, like the previous video, and we're going to be taking the first chord progression we used in the first video as well, the 4, 5, 6, and modifying that slightly. So take a listen to what I've done first and then I'll break it down for you. Alright, so the kind of bass chord progression is our 4, 5, 6, where we're playing D major, E major, F sharp minor, but then obviously we're adding lots of different things in there. First of all, let's take a look at what we've changed those 3 chords to. We're playing a D major 9, which looks like this. 5, 4, 6, 5 on the A, D, G and B strings. Then we're playing an E11, which looks like this. We're playing 7 on the A, 7 on the G, 7 on the B, 5 on the high E. We're turning that into an E13 chord. So what we're doing there is playing 7 on the A, 7 on the G, 9 on the B and E. Okay, and then we're just playing an F sharp minor 7 for the F sharp, the 6th chord. So let's take a look at the passing chords we were using in between these chords. So we played the D major 9 and we moved to our E11. Before the E11 we played a D sharp diminished 7th chord. Alright, so you can play diminished 7th chords 1 fret below whatever chord is coming next in the chord progression. So if the next chord in this example is E, then a fret below E is D sharp, so we'd play a D sharp diminished 7th. This is how you play a D sharp diminished 7th. We're playing 6 on the A, 7 on the D, 5 on the G, 7 on the B. Okay. Then obviously we'll go to our E11, E13. Then we play this very funky little chord. So what this is a secondary dominant chord. So what we're doing is we're playing a dominant 7th chord 1/5 above the next chord or the target chord. Okay, so the next chord in our chord progression is F sharp. A 5th above that is C sharp. So we play a C sharp 7 before we get to the F sharp. But not only have we played a secondary dominant, we've played it as an altered dominant chord. Now an altered dominant chord is a dominant 7th chord that has an altered 5th or it has an altered 9th. So we've got either a flat 5th, a sharp 5th, a flat 9th or a sharp 9th or a combination of one of the 5ths and one of the 9ths, okay? And that's what I've done here. I'm playing a sharp 5, sharp 9. So I'm playing a C sharp, dominant 7th, and then I've altered it with the sharp 5 and the sharp 9, and it looks a bit like this. Okay, so it's 9 on the low E, 9 on the D, 10 on the G, 10 on the B, and 12 on the high E. Really, really awesome sound you get with altered dominant chords. And then I just played the 10th fret of the high E string for a bit of melody, which leads us nicely into that note there in our F sharp minor 7 chord. So that's the first chord progression, a lot of detail in there. Now we were using 9ths, 11ths, 13ths, that kind of thing. If you don't know where to put these extensions on your chords in your key, I've got a guide that will help you. The first 2 chapters of my book, Chord Charisma, shows you how to write a basic chord progression and then extend those chords with 9ths, 11ths, 13ths, and other types of chords as well, like sus chords and 6/9 chords. So it will really get your chord progression sounding more sophisticated. That's free for you down in the description, the first 2 chapters of my book, Chord Charisma. Now let's move on to the second chord progression. We'll take a listen first, and then I'll explain what it is. Okay, so what we're doing is we're playing a 2-5-1. We're playing the 2 chord, which is B minor. We're playing the 5 chord, which is E. And then we're playing the 1 chord, which is A. And then we're just changing a few things. B minor, we're not playing a B minor 7, we're playing a B minor 9, which looks like this. 7, 9, 7, 7, 7, 9. Okay, great shape. Then we're playing an E7, which is pretty standard, okay? And then we're playing an A major 9, which sounds like this. Okay, so 5 on the low E, 6 on the D, 6 on the G, 5 on the B, 7 on the high E. Sounds really gorgeous. And then we're using another secondary dominant to get us to our 2 chord again. So our 2 chord is B, a 5th above B is F sharp. We're playing an F sharp 7. That brings us nicely back into our B minor 9, where we can start the chord progression again. Really, really lovely stuff. Really be thinking about using secondary dominants in your chord progressions. That's how R&B and neo-soul artists bring that emotion into their chord progressions and into their songs, okay? It's a really, really, really useful technique. So let's take a look at the final chord progression of this video that I've written. I'll play it again, just like the other ones, and then explain it afterwards. Alright, so what we're doing here is we're kind of going backwards on that first chord progression. We're playing a 6-5-4 and then adding little things in between. We're starting on our 6, which is F sharp minor 7. And the kind of idea with this is I'm going to bring the bass note down 1 semitone at a time. So the bass note is on the 9th fret of the A string. I'm going to play a chord that uses the 8th fret of the A string, sorry. So I decided to play this chord. I believe it's just called an F minor with a sharp 5th, F minor sharp 5, okay? This didn't come about through any sort of music theory knowledge, this just came about through experimentation. I thought it sounded really nice. Then we're moving to our E7, which is obviously diatonic. Then we're moving down to the 6th fret of the A string, where we play a D sharp diminished 7th. I've already shown you how to play that. And then we go to a D major 7 chord, okay, which is our 4 chord. Now what we do is we borrow a chord from the parallel minor key. So we're in the key of A, we're borrowing from the key of A minor now. And what we're doing is we're borrowing the 4 chord, which is a D minor 7. Okay, so what we could do is we could just think of it as turning our 4 chord into a minor chord, a minor 4 chord. And it's a really effective way of adding tension into your chord progressions. All right, and then I just did another voicing for it up here, which is 10, 10, 10, 12 on the top 4 strings, which is just a really, really nice neo-soul sounding voicing. I'm sure you've used it a million times before. And that leads us really nicely back into our F sharp minor 7. Those are the 3 chord progressions for this intermediate video. The next one is going to be an advanced video. If you want to learn how to write awesome chord progressions like this, check out my book, Chord Charisma 2.0. Chord Charisma 2.0 is a complete guide to writing incredible, jaw-dropping chord progressions. Everything you need to know about harmony and chords is contained within this book. It will take you through the basics of building tension and releasing your chord progressions, and will build upon this foundation with more advanced concepts like jazzy extended chords, borrowed chords from other keys, and cool substitutions to take your chord progression knowledge and ability to the next level. There is a serious amount of content in this book, but it's laid out in a structured fashion with action steps at the end of each chapter to make sure you fully internalized and are actually able to use what you've learned from the book in your playing. That's really, really important. It's a very practical book, which will get you writing new progressions straight away, guaranteed. You'll also have access to personal feedback on your progressions from me via the Chord Charisma Facebook community. And as a bonus, I've thrown in a soloing guide to go with the book, so you won't get lost when you're trying to play licks over your new and improved chord progressions. Head to the link in the description to grab your copy of Chord Charisma 2.0 today.